it was beautiful to see. The tribute video was beautiful, and you could tell this man was never going to leave Dallas. He never intended to leave Dallas. The fans were chanting "Fire Nico" as Nico was actually in the building, looking like a super loser. He just like that man looked like you could have stayed home, bro. You could have called out. PTO is there for a reason. I probably would have skipped that game, and then for Luka to drop 31 in the first, he was going crazy. Yeah. Luka bike in Dallas, that is, in an emotional return to the team that drafted him just 6 years ago. Luka watched a video tribute that brought him fully to tears, man. I mean, he was crying like somebody told him to get a switch. But the emotions of the moment didn't stop him from putting foot to ass against his former team as he dropped 31 in the first half and ending his return with 45 points and, most importantly, a Lakers win. Samaria, do you think Luka's return to Dallas added to the heartbreak of Maverick fans?
Yeah. Of course it did. And I think it just really solidified not only how much Luka meant to Dallas, but how much Dallas meant to him, right? Like, I was not expecting to see him cry and then make me cry like that. I'm like, Luka, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this to us? But I thought it was so amazing to see everybody support him because they knew what it was. And I think that just further shows that these fans are really about to turn against Mavericks in this franchise, because it's just not, I still don't really understand. You tried to explain it to me. I don't really understand what was the thought process behind this trade. I think it's the worst trade ever in the history of the NBA. But yeah, it did add to the heartbreak. But I really appreciated fans showing up for him. They weren't showing up for the Mavericks, but they were showing up for him.
I think the Nets-Celtics trade from a couple years ago probably is the worst trade in NBA history, when they got old-ass Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Nets, and they got like hella first-round picks, and that ended up being like Jaylen Brown and everybody else that has afforded them the luxury of being on this run they're currently on right now. Yeah. But this Luka trade for sure is going in the top 3 all time. Also, Rudy Gobert's trade because he's a bum. But the fans were chanting "Fire Nico" as Nico was actually in the building, looking like a super loser. He just like that man looked like you could have stayed home, bro. You could have called out. PTO is there for a reason. I probably would have skipped that game because it just. And then for Luka to drop 31 in the first, he was going crazy. Yes. 6 threes in the first half. He went absolutely insane. Yes. And I was thinking because he was so emotional and overcome with emotion that he wasn't going to be able to perform well. No. Like he lit belt to ass. It was beautiful to see. The tribute video was beautiful, and you could tell this man was never going to leave Dallas. He never intended to leave Dallas. The man was in the process of finalizing a new home in the city that he anticipated being his forever home. And so to be uprooted pretty much overnight without notice, yeah, that's emotional. And this is my first time back in my space. It's like when you break up with your ex and y'all hook up one last time, and you get back in that bed, you just, you keep wondering like, damn, like this is really it. This is really over.
So you be crying like that?
Yeah, it's emotional when you go back to your ex house. And then the bed don't feel the same. You be like, who was in here? This ain't what it was feeling like before. I don't like this. So I think, and then you realize, you start having those thoughts like, oh man, like who's this person going to end up with in the future since I'm not going to be here? They feel like somebody is better than me. And now you start being in a season of comparison. Maybe not Luka, but that's me with my exes. Back to Luka. Back to Luka though, man. It was... You know what? Luka, to the side for a second. Anthony Davis has been playing terrible. I don't know. I didn't even realize he was on the floor yesterday. Did he
have 4 points?
I don't know what AD had, but he don't look good.
The Mavericks as a whole, they're questionable as a whole. I mean, of course, Kyrie's out, but dang, that was just like.
Najee Marshall played well, but the Lakers are in the midst of closing out this season, and potentially right now they're locked into the 3 seed, so they may end the season with the 3 seed in the entire West, which is incredible.
They clinched that. They clinched the playoff berth on top. So it's just like a triple whammy. It's just like,
yeah, man, and I think that this game in particular, I think because Luka was kind of off the last couple of games, I think these are the kinds of games that get him back into go mode. I think that these kinds of games are what the rest of the league is going to fear heading into the playoffs. When you got a guy that talented, that special, dialed in, that's the kind of thing that makes even the Oklahoma City Thunder be like, ooh, okay, like we're gonna have to see these guys.
On top of LeBron, who.
Did you see that lob? Did you see that lob he caught that AR Austin Reeves threw him? I'm just like, yo, you 40 years old, fam. You are 14
like, that's what I'm saying.
Slow
down. You get on my nerves. Why can't you slow down? At the end of the game, like he was just whatever Shannon Sharp be saying. That's what he's going.
Yeah.
Lakers
Mavericks, asterisks, don't matter. Lakers in 5. Austin Reeves has been hooping. I love it, yo. I really feel like this team has a chance to make it to the chip. I don't think they could beat the Boston Celtics because the Celtics love playing against Luka. Like, they love disrupting him, picking him up full court. I don't know about beating the Celtics, but anybody else, I feel like the Lakers can take aim at and defeat in the playoffs. I really, really, truly believe that in my heart of hearts. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out as we close this season now. I'm excited. Yeah. Do you feel like they have a legitimate chance to win a championship?
I don't know if they have a chance to win it, but they can make a serious run. I could see them at least in the Western Conference Finals.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of the West, though.
What's up?
What you think about the Nuggets now?
So the Nuggets fired head coach Mike Malone and the GM Calvin Booth, and I think this is ridiculous. Firing your head coach 3 games before the playoffs start just is inept. You know, like, what do you know, you're putting everybody in a position to fail. I mean, shout out, you're fortunate, though, that you have the like a robot in Nikola Jokic who's like so emotionless about everything. So that's your real saving grace here. It doesn't matter who's the coach. Nikola is going to show up and do what Nikola does. But in general, like, why would you do this right now?
I know that was a head scratcher. I saw somebody post on YouTube, like, do these like owners and front office execs, do they feel like great head coaches grow on trees? I don't know. But we don't know the inner workings of what their team dynamic is or what was going on. Maybe it seems like people were kind of checked out on Malone. I don't know.
You let this man finish the season.
I agree.
Though.
But people keep doing this. This is the second time we've seen this. We just saw this with Taylor Jenkins and the Memphis Grizzlies.
But Taylor Jenkins never did anything. Mike Malone has won a championship.
Okay, he couldn't do anything because historically.
Don't matter. It never got done.
There's too much off the court stuff over there.
Sure, no doubt, but it never got done. Mike Malone did it.
Okay.
He did it. So it's like what? Like okay, so Mike Malone, Nick Nurse, but Budenholz, Mike Budenholz, excuse me.
Yes.
These are 3 championship winning coaches in the last 5 years who have all been terminated. And so it's like, well, what are we looking for out of coaches? Is the goal to win? Because we've done that, right? Like, so it's almost like, damn, maybe I shouldn't win just to keep the expectations down.
Or is the goal to be liked by the team? Because that's never going to happen. These guys are making millions of dollars a year. You really can't tell them what to do in the grand scheme of things. So I don't know. But it seems like maybe being liked in the locker room is more important than winning games at this point.
Yeah, and that's just, maybe that's a part of athlete empowerment. Maybe Mike Malone he went to high school in Jersey. We talk a little crazy. But he does rub people the wrong way, perhaps. But again, so what? So does Greg Popovich. But for whatever reason now, right. So Pat Riley, like the greatest of all greats, tend to do that. And so if you want me to just come in here and make everything cheery, I don't think that's really the kind of environment that a winning championship culture is cultivated in from my perspective, right? Like even Steve Kerr talks crazy to people, like that's just, there's a thing, like there's a brashness, there's a lack of fear in saying what needs to be said. And I feel like Mike Malone is one of those kinds of people. And in these times, somebody who's going to hold athletes accountable, I think is the most important thing you can have in a head coach. But what do I know? It is what it is. Anyway, y'all let us know your thoughts on all the above. What did you think about Luka's return to Dallas? And also, how do you feel about the Denver Nuggets firing head coach Mike Malone with just 3 games left in the regular season? Drop your thoughts in the comments section.